Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know this video is kind of a different route of the videos that I usually do, but I feel like it was well needed since I've been doing a lot of reflection videos recently on like my best and worst purchases of 2020, my 2021 wish list, that I think this kind of balances it out as a video of things I'm gonna try hard and not buy in 2021. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So I have my phone here with the list of everything on it because I'm gonna need a way to remember all of them. There are 10 things in total. There's no way my head's gonna remember them all off the top of my head. So if you see me referring to my phone, that's probably why. I'm just trying to like pick up what the next thing is, so please ignore my phone. So a lot of these things are kind of more just like lifestyle switches that I'm trying to make and incorporate into my everyday to-day life. And just kind of also noticing that so many of our needs have adapted and evolved within the recent years. So I feel like implementing these like very consciously, besides being subconscious, is like a huge effort to take on and definitely something I want to try to look forward to into 2021. So the first thing is going to be cheap furniture. So there's nothing really wrong with cheap furniture as long as the furniture is well made. And when I mean cheap furniture is poorly made furniture to justify the cost of it being cheap. I have a lot of pieces from IKEA. I have a lot of other pieces from places like Structube, HomeSense, and Winners that were cheap and they were very affordable, but they were also very well made. I've also acquired pieces from those exact same companies that were very cheap and unfortunately were not well made. And I feel like some of these brands have really, really good price furniture that's cheap to kind of like lure you in, but their entire brand under the house is not necessarily always high quality. And sometimes, unfortunately, when it comes to furniture, the cheap ones do break and fall apart faster. So my goal for this year is to spend a little bit more and invest in well-made solid furniture with like good design. That being said, that we won't necessarily opt out of cheap furniture if it's for like a really quick use or something that we're not necessarily going to use as often. Like if I want to put a bench in the main front door area that people aren't going to really sit on all the time, but you just sit down to put on your shoes, as opposed to like our bed frame or like the couch that we sit on all the time. These are pieces of furniture that I'm willing to splurge a little bit more on because they get repetitive everyday use out of it. It's gonna be hard getting Peter on board with me for this because I know he really, really enjoys like that score and that solid deal when he sees something like really cheap and on sale. I don't know, we bought that console table from the Bay last year. Was it last year? No, it was the year before. And I got really excited for it because I was looking for a console table for the longest time. It fit the perfect shape, size, dimension, and visuals. And then after we put it together within a few months, there's two like little drawers that go into it and it's sort of like sagging in the middle. And then I was just looking and I'm like, why did I pay like $200 for this when it's not even holding up the way it's supposed to? So now after looking at that, a couple of other pieces of furniture that I thought were cheap and great buys, but actually turned out to not have solid cushioning when it comes to like sitting down. Not this couch. I love this couch. This couch is like chef's kiss. But I have a couple of other chairs around the house that were affordable and cheap, but they just didn't stand the test of time. And I just don't think it's worthwhile for us to continuously invest in cheap furniture when you can spend a little bit more money. We do have a little bit more financial freedom now to spend a bit more on really well-made solid furniture that's going to last you a lifetime. So that's kind of what I want to look into for 2021, especially if we do really acquire and attain our goal of purchasing a house. We're going to have to fill it and furnish it. So I think I'm going to use that as a way to keep myself from furnishing the place nice and slow so that I'm not rushing to fill every room so that it's usable. I think it's fine if it takes you like a year, 2-3 years to fill a house. You don't need to rush to fill it completely. And I want to make sure that every single piece of furniture that we bring into that house is going to serve a purpose and also last us a long time, because I don't want to buy something just to have to replace it down the road a couple of years later, because that costs us money. So yeah, my goal is to avoid cheaply made furniture for the price when it lures you in, and to just buy very, very well-made, high-quality furniture when possible. How I'm gonna do that? I've actually purchased a couple pieces of things off of Facebook Marketplace and Kijiji, and I love them. People are constantly letting go of their furniture whenever they're moving, if they outgrow their tastes, and what's trash to somebody else can really be treasure for you. So I strongly urge you to go onto those like real estate websites, not the real estate, the estate sales websites, sorry, where you can pick up pieces from people's houses when they're selling, or if they foreclose and they're trying to get rid of stuff, or just go on Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji. Sometimes you find some phenomenal finds on there. I found some of my favorite pieces of furniture on there, so I'm very, very happy with them. And it doesn't need to be new to be good furniture. Good furniture is made to last. So yeah, bye-bye cheap furniture. Second thing I'm going to stop buying in 2021 are winter jackets. I have enough of them, like way more than enough. I have at least 2 parkas, 2 or 3 puffer jackets, a bunch of overcoats. Okay, overcoats don't really fall into the winter jackets. I mean like the technical winter jackets, the ones that are designed to keep you really, really warm, whether it's like a puffer or a parka. I think I have enough of them to cover all of my bases. I've even started selling a couple of them that I don't really find myself reaching for anymore on my Poshmark. So it's a little plug right there if you guys need some more jackets and you want to help me clear up my closet. My Poshmark handle is right here. Check it out. I've listed a couple of them on there. But honestly, I've collected so many jackets in the past recent years that I don't get the chance to wear them all the time. And if there's anything this past year has shown me, it's that I frequently reach for jackets that are A, easy to throw on, B, are comfortable, and C, serve a purpose. So if I have like 6 different parkas and one of them is too tight for me to wear my oversized sweaters underneath, I'm not gonna reach for it. I'm gonna reach for the one that's like really nice, big, loose, and comfy, easy for me to move around in, and also keeps me warm. So I've actually found myself really trimming it down to like maybe 3 jackets that I reach for frequently for different purposes. And I'm gonna try my hardest not to purchase or take on any more winter coats for 2021 because A, I don't need them, and also B, my closet is ram-packed. We have no more space. Maybe until we move to a new house. If I want to add a different color, that might be a different thing. I don't know, we'll see. I'm just gonna try really hard to not purchase anymore. And I also want to make it clear that there's no like hard line saying that like, no, I'm not gonna purchase any of these things. These are more just philosophies that I want to take on to my life and internalize them and use them as a guideline as to what I should and shouldn't purchase. I'm just trying to like make them more concrete. So I actually refer back to myself and tell myself that like, no, you promised yourself you weren't gonna buy that, so don't buy it. Besides, just like going out, seeing it and buying it, bringing it home and telling myself like, why did you do that? You know what I mean? Like, no more buyer's remorse or buyer's guilt. I don't want that. I want to be accountable for what I purchase before I make the purchase. So this is what I'm doing with this video, trying to remind myself that these are things I shouldn't be buying for 2021, and if I can avoid buying them, great. Number 3 is gonna shock you guys, but it is plants. Yes. So as you guys know, I am an avid plant mom and I have a lot of plants here, probably a little bit too much. And when I first started collecting and taking care of plants about 3-4 years ago, I went ham, like some people are when they get really into plants. You buy like a ton of them, eventually a ton of them die, and you start to learn that not all plants are made for your environment and you're not meant to be able to take care of all these plants. I've gone through the past year and a half having plants die me, getting frustrated, buying them again, only to have them die me again, for me to finally accept that I am not meant to take care of all of these plants, and the environment that we live in is not designed for all of these plants to thrive in, whether they don't get enough sun or they don't get enough humidity or it's too chilly in our place, whatever it is. I just can't maintain all these plants, and I've come to really internalize that I need to stop buying plants and take care of the ones that I currently have. Some of the ones that I've had have been around for like 3 to 4 years now, and they're doing phenomenally. Like, they're flourishing. Calatheas, on the other hand, I've purchased a bunch of them a couple of different times, and they just don't like me. And I've come to the point where I don't think I need to keep buying them because I end up wasting more money trying to replace them and take care of them than I do actually like enjoying them. And it's just like not a good spend of my time or my money. So I'm gonna avoid buying plants and just sticking true to the ones that I currently already have and love, unless they get gifted to me or unless I trade some of my plants for somebody else's. I know that this is probably gonna come to a shock to you guys since you know how much I love plants and with my quarterly plant updates, but fear not, I'm still gonna be growing veggies, so you'll still see some new things there. Don't worry, that's just more for personal consumption so I can eat the food that I make. But in terms of decorative plants, I'm gonna try really hard this year to not buy any more, especially if we're gonna be buying a house and moving into one soon. I don't want to have to worry about taking more plants over. We have more than enough as it is, and they're already slowly starting to take over our place. So I think this is the year I call it quits and say enough is enough until we figure out the next situation of where we're gonna live and whether or not I can have more plants in that space. I'm sure Peter's gonna be happy with this decision because I know he feels like sometimes my plants infringe on his personal space. Number 4 is going to be mismatched mugs. It drives me nuts that my mug collection doesn't match. They're all types of shapes, colors, and sizes, and it drives me bonkers. Some of them have metal rims and handles on them and I can't wash them. And when I look at it, I'm the type of person who needs everything to be like neatly lined up. So I would love if all of my mugs were the exact same color. Unfortunately, they are not, and it drives me crazy. And as much as I love them and I appreciate all these beautiful mugs that my friends and clients have gifted me, I think it's time for me to tell myself to stop buying mugs because I do contribute to that problem too. And we also just run out of space for mugs, to be very honest. Peter and myself, we go through probably at least like 4 to 6 mugs a day in between like coffee in the morning, a tea in the afternoon, and maybe something else at night, like a hot chocolate. So we end up going through a lot of them, but I think we've hit that threshold where even if there are 6 mugs running in the dishwasher and we use another 6 during the day, there's still more than enough left over. And for 2 people, that's more than enough. So I'm gonna make a promise to myself to not buy a single more mug this year, because there's no point in me getting more. I have no space for it. It's not going to match my collection, so it just doesn't make sense for what my personal goals are. Until I have a cabinet where I can shut all the doors and we have more little people running around our home that can actually functionally use these mugs, I don't see a point in getting more mugs for myself. So admittedly, we're just going to stop, and I'm not going to purchase any more this year. Number 5 are cheap kitchen tools and gadgets. So this past year, we've explored a lot when it comes to cooking. We've acquired things such as a mashed potato masher, a whisk, a Japanese knife, and a couple of other things as well. We've just acquired a bunch of kitchen gadgets. I know you guys are probably sitting there thinking like, why don't you already have these things in your kitchen to begin with? Because we never had to cook with the need and the use of these types of kitchen gadgets. Usually our cooking was like very basic, but since we've been at home for the past year, we've been exploring a little bit more cooking and trying out different things that we started to notice that we were missing these things from our kitchen, and we went out and purchased them. Lo and behold, some of them, obviously, we learned a lesson that they weren't made well. Like, I thought that I'd buy like this shitty little tiny whisk that was like $5 because I would rarely ever need to use a whisk, but then this whisk like fell apart within a couple of uses that it just made no sense for me. I should have just spent the $12 and bought a better made quality whisk so that it would last me a long time, even though I wasn't going to use it more than a couple times. It just doesn't make sense for me to go fully cheap out on kitchen gadgets and tools. I think I have the financial freedom and the stability to be able to splurge a little bit more on well-made, high-quality kitchen products. So that's what my goal is going to be. And we currently have, not that there's a problem with it, like a full set of IKEA cutlery in the cutlery drawer. And 2 Christmases ago, Peter gifted me this like really beautiful stainless steel set from West Elm that I want to get a second set of to fully finish, so we have enough of each piece, and then remove the IKEA ones that are like very mismatched and don't really match the rest of our cutlery drawer, and just to have everything look cohesive and beautiful. I'm the type of person who likes to have a very cohesive cutlery drawer. When I open it, I want to see everything matching. It just looks beautiful to me. Like, that's my goal. So no more cheap kitchen gadgets. I'm only going to be investing in quality tools now, because moving forward in the future, when we buy a house and we have kids, I know I ain't got time for things to be breaking on me as I use them, and I want them to last a lifetime so that I don't ever have to buy them again. So that is my goal. No more cheap, really poorly made kitchen gadgets. This falls in line with the cheap furniture. I think I've definitely moved past that point in my life where like I need everything to be cheap. Whatever's a good deal, get it. I'm more looking into the value and the quality of things now. Number 6, and Peter's actually gonna really like this. This is excess food. I want to stop buying excess food. I have a habit of going to grocery stores and just picking things up that I like, that look interesting, that I want to try, bringing them home. We don't get the chance to finish eating them on time, and they just go bad. And in turn, we end up throwing out a lot of food, and I just feel really, really bad about that. My parents raised me to never ever waste food, so far as to like eat every single grain of rice that is in your bowl. We can't leave the kitchen table until I'm fully done eating anything. If I go to buffets or restaurants, whatever I order and I put on my plate, I have to finish all of it. Otherwise, I learned my lesson and I shouldn't order that much next time. So I've become a little bit too comfortable with our financial freedom and buying too much food that a lot of it starts going to waste, and I can't consume all of it before it expires. So I just feel really bad wasting that much food when I know that there are people out there who don't have as many resources as I do, and it's just gross in general to see food go to waste, and it's just a waste of money. That I'm going to be a little bit more conscientious and try to be a little bit more specific with what I buy, and ensure that they are things I truly need, and to limit my like want foods and leisure foods that I consume to like less and less. So like only 1 bag of chips every 2 weeks, or you can buy that bag of popcorn, or if you want to buy those little cupcakes, that's the only thing you're going to buy that's like a snack on this grocery trip, because everything else is what you're going to cook to eat, not just to snack on. And if it goes bad, it's going to go bad. Case in point, my avocados. I used to buy them by bags because they were cheaper, and they'd be like a bag of 6 for like $4.99. But then avocados, as you guys all know, have a really, really short lifespan, and once they ripe, you literally have like 2 to 3 days to eat them before they literally go bad. I never finish eating them that quickly. Like, who has time to eat 6 avocados at once. So at least I know I don't. And I always end up throwing at least half the bag out. It just doesn't make sense for me anymore. So I've scaled back completely. I've purchased 1 avocado. I'm waiting to see how long it takes me to consume all of it. And then from there, I can kind of like measure out how frequently I can eat avocados. I might scale up to buying 2 at a time or like buying 3 at a time. And I know some people tend to look at their avocados and pick like really bright green ones and like medium green to brown ones and then brown ones that are ripe, so that you can kind of like plan out when you're going to consume them so that it fits perfectly in line with your diet and you don't wait for them to go bad before you eat them. That might be something I'll look into, but for now I've definitely scaled back on the excess of bulk food, especially going to Costco. There's no way 2 people can eat that much food that sometimes come in those packages. So I'm definitely going to try to scale back how much excess food we purchase for 2021. Number 7, and this one kind of hurts me a little bit because I had to do a lot of introspection to realize that I was doing this, and it was excessive, repetitive, and redundant home decor. So we live in a tiny condo. It's 600 square feet. I've mentioned this before, you guys, and we have a lot of stuff in between my plants, us 2 physically being here, our furniture, all my PR packages, and my clothes and our equipment. We don't have a lot of space. And I'm like every other, I don't know, millennial out there who's obsessed with home decor. And I like to fill my space up. As you can see, like these frames behind me, this lamp, my plants, my blanket on this couch. I really don't need more though. I feel like my home is so fully furnished as it is already that there's no point or benefit to me acquiring more excessive and redundant pieces. So I'm gonna really try to scale back and make sure that whatever I buy is something that I truly need. It's not just because I like it and I see it. I scaled back last year by buying less pillow stuffings and just buying pillow cases, so that if I wanted a different look, I could take the stuffing out of one that's already existing on my couch and put on a new case and then put that old case away somewhere in storage, so that when I want to bring it out again, I can. That definitely cut down on space and I was able to store a lot. Another big thing that I really want to stop buying too are excessive vases. I have a lot of them, especially now that I'm going to be slowing down on my plant purchasing. I don't feel like I need that many vases anymore, and a couple of the flowers that I get from PR packages sometimes also come in vases already that I get to keep. So I should be more or less focusing more of my time reusing those rather than buying brand new ones. So when it comes to home decor, until we buy a house and I have more needs, like more mirrors that I need to hang up somewhere, I'm going to try to refrain and stop buying pieces. And if I do buy something, it's going to be because I put something else away, or I sold it, or I swapped it out. For example, if I want a new blanket that I really like, then this one needs to go because we don't need like 5 or 6 blankets. I have one on this arm, one on that arm, and then I have one on the couch that we cuddle up with. It's one of those like soft, fuzzy, fleecy blankets. And then I also have one of those like giant knit ones, the ones that like you knit with your arm for aesthetics for me to use for photo shoots. That's 4 blankets on one couch. We really don't need that many. So if I do want to buy another one, I either have to get rid of one of the existing ones or I don't buy a blanket. So yeah, that's gonna be my ethos. No more excessive and redundant home decor pieces. Number 8 is gonna be a hard one for me, and it's going to be purses. And I think that's designer purses specifically. So within this past year, I've really kind of reevaluated my spending, what I use after I buy it, and how often I'm actually using it. And when it comes to purses, they are expensive. Prices are going up so quickly every year that it doesn't really make sense for me to acquire so many purses, especially ones that are just cute and look adorable, versus being dream ones that I've always wanted. So I'm gonna try to scale it down and only allow myself to buy like 1 purse a year. Even then, I feel like that's a lot for most people. I know some people only have 1 purse and they use it for 10 years straight. But for myself, as somebody who's really into fashion, I like to be able to have options to change up my wardrobe and different purposes for purses and just different looks for me to shoot as well. But I think I'm gonna try to scale back my purchasing and to only purchase purses that are like my dream ones that I've always wanted for a long time, and to limit myself to at least, sorry, not at least, at max 1 purse a year, maybe 2 if it's gonna be like one of those like once in a lifetime opportunities to get a second one. Just really scale back my overall excess spending when it comes to things such as bags, because I really don't need that many. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to do since there's so many bags on my wish list. And there's so many ones that are new that are currently still available in store, but so many ones that are vintage that are discontinued and won't be available anymore. So I have a struggle, like, do I buy the ones that are in store right now because the prices are going up and I want to get it before they increase the price too much? Or do I want to buy the vintage one? Because if I pass on this one, who knows when I'm gonna get the opportunity to buy this one again. It's this like internal struggle. I know it's such like a first world problem struggle to have, but I'm gonna try to hold to myself to only buy one purse a year this year maybe, and two if there's some like extenuating circumstance. But that's it. No more than two. Absolutely no more. That's my limit. Number 9 are unnecessary hair and body tools. So I love the tools that I currently have at home, and I find that I constantly gravitate back to the ones that work well for me. Like my T3 curling iron. I have a couple of other curling irons from other brands, but I always just go back to T3 because it works so freaking well. It's portable, easy to use, it's lasted me for years now. So for me, it just doesn't make sense for me to constantly acquire all these new hair accessories and tools. Same with body tools. I have like 2 of those jade rollers, 1 gua sha. I was thinking of getting the spheres. I don't know if I need that. Like, do you really need all these body tools? I don't think so. And they're big. They take up so much space that it just doesn't make sense to me. I recently sold off my at-home laser hair removal kit because I've been doing laser hair removal at a Medi Spa that I go to that I just don't really need that at home anymore. So I'm just trying to like minimize how much clutter I have at home with all of these extra tools lying around. They're fun to collect and to play with, but I don't really find that I have a purpose and a need for all of them. And rather than spending money on those things where I'll use like a handful of times, I'd rather refocus that money on other things in the future, such as like investments such as real estate, putting aside money into a college fund for my child. Even buying a purse would have more perks than buying these hair and body tools for myself, because at least with the purse I can use it on a daily basis and I would use it frequently. So yeah, I'm gonna try to scale back and not purchase any more hair and body tools for this year. So number 10 is going to be more of an ethos and a principle that I want to live on as opposed to like a specific thing, and that is to not buy new things just for the sake of buying new. I know you get this like little dopamine surge whenever you get something that's like brand new. You open it and it's so exciting, but I've learned to really appreciate the value of like thrifted, antique, and vintage things because they come with a story, and you don't always need to buy new things. So within this past recent year, I've been doing a lot of Facebook Marketplace and Kijiji and like thrift store shopping for furniture at home, and also for clothing and vintage pieces and like home decor. And I find that like it's a little bit more unique. You don't necessarily always have something that everybody has, and it allows you to really create that personalized touch with the object because you know it wasn't purchased and made for the purpose of just capitalism. Not to say that the other things that you buy weren't, they definitely were, but I like to be able to give a second chance to things, if that makes sense, and to like know that I'm taking away my carbon footprint when I contribute to putting more things into the landfill by buying brand new things. So what I really wanted to kind of instill into myself is to be comfortable with buying things that already are used. I used to like really frown down on used clothing. It just kind of grossed me out. I don't know why. Now I'm completely open to it. I've really opened up my mind to going thrifting for clothes, and sometimes I found like really unique and like gems in places that you never expect. So definitely open up your mind to it and try it as well. And that's just kind of like a philosophy I want to instill into my life this year, that it's not necessarily important to buy things because you need something new, so you go and buy something new. Sometimes it's good to find used options as well. But yeah. All right, so that just about sums up all the 10 things that I will be refraining from buying or not buying for 2021. I'm gonna try really hard to keep to all these promises to myself because I feel like these are things that I need to be more conscious of when I'm spending my money, since we are trying to save up and to buy a house and to also have a kid to raise in the future. I definitely do need to be more conscious of what I'm spending my money on, because when I look back at my bank account, I'm like, how did I make this much? But I only have this much left. Like, it doesn't make sense. And also just like recklessly spending on things that you really don't need, that just contributes to waste in the world. So yeah, we're just trying to scale back our spending habits a little bit and to be a little bit more conscious with what we're actually buying and purchasing to make them more meaningful to our lives. Let me know if you guys have any other practices or things that you're swearing off from purchasing this year. I would love to know. Maybe there are things that I missed out on or I didn't even think about that I definitely need to incorporate into my life. But if you guys aren't doing that, let me know which ones you guys kind of liked from the 10 that I shared that you think would be beneficial to yourself. I would really love to know and to generate discussion on this. If you guys want to see more of me, you know where to find me over on Instagram and also on TikTok. I post on both of those platforms quite frequently, probably at least once a day. So you can see a lot more of me on there if you're not tired of seeing me on here already as is. And if you do want to see more of me, make sure you guys are subscribed and that you turn on the notification bell. That way you know every single time I post a brand new video. I post twice a week, Tuesdays and wow, why did I say Tuesdays? I never post on Tuesdays. Sorry, Thursdays and Sundays at 7 p.m. And I will be on every day when I post a brand new video within the first hour to be replying back to you guys so we can chat a little bit in there. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you'd like me to do a follow-up by the end of the year to see how successful I was at keeping these promises of things not to buy. I will not fault myself if I do fail on some of them. I can't be perfect, but I will try hard to stay on that journey, if not making any of these purchases that I said I wouldn't. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you have an amazing day. I will see you in the next video. Bye!